This year has been such an eye-opener. I'm so grateful to just experience this season in my life. Even though this season, it just felt like it was so long, but it was so needed. It was so overdue. This year, I just felt myself be like this flower. Me personally, I just needed to be in the right environment in order for me to grow, in order for me to bloom into who I've always wanted to be. I'm not saying I've reached there, but when I tell you this year has really showed me that I needed to change a lot of things. I needed to see me. I needed to see me. And sometimes the environment that you're in, you ain't seeing you. You wonder like, oh my gosh, why is everybody talking about a soft life and they're able to live this soft life instead of me? Well, maybe where you are, you're not being watered properly. In order for a plant to grow, in order for a flower to bloom, it takes a certain level of care from yourself and from the people that are around you. I really realized that I needed care. I needed to care about me a little more. I needed patience. When I tell you your girl has patience, I have patience. That same energy that you're pouring into hope, pouring into believing someone is gonna change, you can change. When you revert that back to yourself, I'm telling you, like, so much can happen in a year just with the way that you feel, with the way that you carry yourself, how you view everything and everyone. For the longest time, I wanted to experience that soft girl life, you guys. Like, I just started to believe something was wrong with me. I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why do I feel like I could just never be her? I had to deal with people differently. Certain relationships that you're in sometimes, it could be with a friend, it could be with a lover, it could be with your parent, it could be with your brother, your sister. It can just be so draining and toxic. But because you love so much, you don't want to see it. You just want to keep being there and showing up. And I realized that, you know, Tosh, like, you need to show up for you. If you want to just experience that side of you that you know is there, you gotta show up for you. Why is it that it's so easy for, I want to say an empath, okay? Because I have a lot of care and protecting in me, to the point where I would have a drastic side to me, because it's like the minute I see you just like taking me for granted, I get annoyed, I get mad, okay? That would be me. But even me, with this energy that I poured back into me, the more and more I develop into this flower that I know that I am, that I know that I was supposed to be this whole time, but because I was reverting it elsewhere, I missed the mark big time. I just feel like it was supposed to happen now. It was supposed to happen when I feel so alone. The soft girlness in you, it starts from in you. It doesn't start outwardly. If you start even taking care of your outward appearance more than or before your inward, it could be a bit off balance. That's why sometimes it's like people will see like a pretty girl and you'll wonder like, how come they don't see themselves that way? And you just probably think they're a liar. Like, what do you mean you don't think you're pretty? What do you mean you don't think you're all that? Because inside is a mess. Inside was damaged by that relationship, by that mother that didn't know how to treat you, by that best friend that you thought was your friend, by those family members, okay? You just grew up thinking that you weren't this person. So that's why it's like, I felt like this season with me, this season that I'm in right now, just took so long. It's been taking so long, and it's still taking long because there's just so much that I need to unknow. And there's so much that I need to know. But I'm glad. I'm happy that it's happening now, because I feel like I'm gonna cherish it more now. I feel like it's gonna make sense to me more now. I feel like going forward, nobody's gonna be able to do the things that people were doing to me before. When you know you're navigating through that soft girl era, okay? I'm gonna tone it down a bit because I feel like I'm just so passionate about this, because it's like it takes a lot in you to really accept the fact that you let yourself be played. I feel like it's like you're being played for so long. Your life is really in seasons, okay? And some seasons are going to be longer than some seasons are going to go faster, and I feel like the more along you are in your journey, those seasons can become a little bit more quick, but they can be also draining. This specific season, I'm gonna say, for example, that I am in, it's taking a very long time, because it came with a lot of tears, loneliness, heartbreak, regrets. Like, I don't want to say regrets, but like life lessons. And sometimes it's gonna be like a very quiet season. Some seasons are quiet, some seasons are loud, some seasons are just chaotic. Just because the season may seem slow and it may seem quiet, sometimes that's when you're learning the most. Sometimes you have to stop forcing fetch, okay? When you're forcing it sometimes, that's when you're back at square one, right? Because you're not taking that time to really discover you. You have to remember, when you are growing in different stages of your life, it can seem so weird, okay? It could seem weird to you, and it will definitely seem weird to the people that are around you. If anything, it's gonna feel annoying, and it's gonna feel weird to them people around you, because they don't know this you. Sometimes they don't even want to know this version of you, because it doesn't benefit them. It doesn't help them in any way, because now all the energy that you were pouring out to everybody else, even if you weren't pouring it out to them, they were happy that you were pouring it somewhere else and not into yourself. Because who told you to go find you and outdo the people that are around you? People don't want you to outdo them. A lot of people around you are not even happy for you. They want you to stay at the same place you're in, if anything lower, so that you can meet them and they can feel comfortable. A lot of times people just love to be in their comfort zone. That's cool, you can be in your comfort zone, but don't expect me to stay in mine. Now when I'm noticing shit, it's like, yo, you were part of the reason. And then that's where it starts to get lonely. That's where you're just like, oh my gosh, now I'm alone, because a lot of the people around me were the problem. You need to realize that you need a lot of care. You need that care. Stop treating yourself so rough. Stop being so harsh on yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself. The way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to others, the way you think about yourself, the way you think about others, the way you go about life needs a lot of care. Sometimes you got to do more listening and observing than speaking. Wisdom is the key to a lot of things. Like, sometimes you're missing out on really gaining something, even if it is nothing. You know, sometimes people think that what they have to say is even more important than you, and it's like, yo, stop. This whole time you were just trying to control me. Being positive, major, okay? And taking accountability. If it's something I really don't like, is a person who can't take accountability. I find that so annoying, and I find it so self-destructive. It's okay to take accountability. There was a lot of things I had to take accountability for on my end, and I'd rather have a conversation with somebody that, you know, me and them may have had a fallout. I want to know, what did I do that was wrong? Tell me, so that I can see what it is and I can make that change if I need to make that change. Sometimes it's just, you know, a big misunderstanding. Sometimes it's really you just being stuck in your ways, but taking that accountability and putting forth the effort if change needs to happen. And that's why it's like, you're around people that not necessarily don't want to change, it's just that they don't even know how to change. They're just so stuck. They didn't take that accountability. They didn't make those certain steps to grow. They didn't change certain habits. That's why it's like, you have to pay attention to your circle and what you're absorbing into your life and into your mind, because your mindset is so major with the way you get through your day. When you wake up, you want to have like a peacefulness to you. I want to be more grateful of the things that, you know, God has given me every day. Just waking up with a negative attitude to you and then going amongst people, that energy being thrown off to people is just not fair. Like, people are going to have problems, but it's how you deal with the problems and how you express yourself to people if you want them to take it on too. It's not all the time you want to call that friend that always has something negative to say, because then it's like that aura is just too much and it's not where you're going. It may seem like a flower is so delicate, right? And like softness may be weakness, but it's actually not. I just feel like the more soft I became and the more I exuded, is that the word? Exuded my feminine energy, it was more of a strength to me. The more peaceful I was, I felt more stronger. The more calm I was and the more relaxed I felt, I was actually more stronger than I was when I would be so anxious and exhausted of everyone and everything. I just realized that I'm so strong mentally. Even when I'm talking to people, if I don't like what they have to say, before I'd probably just not say anything about it. I'll just let it slide. But now it's like I'm gonna step up for myself and I'm gonna say how I feel, right? I'm not going to be rude to anybody, but I'm gonna more stand up for what I believe in. And especially if it's gonna mess with my mental health, like I'm not gonna just let people talk to me anyhow, you know? But I feel like even with me having a certain aura to myself, like when you exude a certain aura, like I'm using these words where it's coming out of nowhere, guys. Like, if I'm using the wrong words, my bad. If you just present, I'm gonna say present. If you present a certain energy, it will let people know how to talk to you, how to address you when it comes to certain things. But if you carry yourself with like this negative energy all the time, you just come off where you don't even know how to put your words together properly. Like I don't know how to put, I don't know how to put my words together like extremely properly, because sometimes I'll be saying stuff and I'll be like, I'm not too sure about that word. But what I mean is when you carry yourself a certain way and you're just positive, it will reflect off of that. It's like, for example, when I am around somebody, right, and say this person goes to church, if you have to tell me you go to church all the time and you always have to be telling me that, you know, you do this godly thing, that godly thing, like if you have to like always tell me about you and church and God, like to me it's like like I get you, but a real person or somebody like me is gonna really know without you even telling me all that. This stuff will just be on you. I would just feel it through you. I would just know by just having a conversation with you the type of person you are and the type of energy that you carry. You shouldn't have to walk around with a sign saying who you are. It would just reflect in just the way you carry yourself, the way you talk to others, the way you think about yourself, you know, just the way how your aura is, you know. They would just know when you're changing too, and you're, you know, in your soft girl era and you're becoming that flower that you were always supposed to become. Not everybody deserves to be in your garden. Okay, not everybody gets to come in and mess with your peace. Remember, there was a season where you were alone, and you were alone for a reason. This is your peace, so this is something that you worked so hard for. And it's okay if people don't like you once you become that person, because reality is they didn't like you from the beginning anyways. It was just that you were more easy for them to manipulate and more easy for them to control. You have to let people know that they must deal with you with care, and sometimes they're gonna know it. They're gonna see it on you. You know, they may tiptoe around you at first, but they will see. And if they're not handling you with care, then adios. Like, they gotta go. YOLO. You gotta protect your peace foremost. You also have to remember that growing takes time. Just like a flower in a garden, it takes time. You never seen a flower grow overnight. I love when I see those videos of when people show like a flower blooming. It's not in real time, but they speed up the process. Like I always be like, yo, how they have their battery lasting so long just filming this flower? But I guess they have their way of doing it. Like that takes some dedication, but a flower takes time. Just like how that flower takes time, you will have to give yourself that time to bloom. You're gonna make mistakes along the way. Nothing so good just happens overnight. You're worth so much more than you think you are. You take time to bloom, even if you're starting right now. It's gonna be a process. Life is a process. Life is a journey, and that's what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes it so pretty. It didn't just come out of nowhere. It came with so much. You don't want to let nobody just come in and come destroy all that work that you've done. You want to get in that right relationship. You want to get in those good friendships that feed you back too, where you don't feel like the only one pouring in. I used to be that friend where I would be the one checking up on everybody. I would be that one calling, and then, you know, those times where you're like, okay, let me stop calling and see if they'll call me. That was me. It's like, wow, if I don't call you, I won't hear from you the whole damn year. What is this, you know? And then sometimes they be the first ones to say, what's wrong with you? You've changed. I don't hear from you no more. I haven't heard from you at all. Like, I was the one calling you. You thrive literally when you are consistent in your peace, not when you're rushing it. Being consistent with the journey, knowing that I just went through this rough season, okay? Let me stop and really process what I went through. Now I'm going to be taking on this part of the journey. Now I'm going to change this. Now I'm going to create these new habits, right? Be patient with yourself. Understand that God knows your process more than you do. He knows which direction you need to take. He knows which part of the journey you're supposed to be in right now. You definitely don't want to rush your process. And you also don't want to give up on it either. Believe in it. It took a long time for me to get here. Sometimes I would be afraid of change, especially now that I have my children. Certain things that I have to change, it ends up changing for them. So it's like I have to be delicate with their growth as well and how they view me, and it would just be so hard for me to just change a big aspect of my life if I knew it was gonna affect theirs. And sometimes as a parent, it's like like when you have to think about your children, it can get harder. It can get more delicate. And that's when I had to get closer to God and really understand that what I'm doing, it's okay. Like, it's not gonna hurt the people that I love. There's gonna be seasons like that where it's just gonna be very hard to go through. But you see, the minute you go through that very difficult thing, it's like nothing can really hold you back. Nothing can really stop your process. It's like you have to be all in at this point because look at what you just went through. This year I really noticed that living softly really meant that I had to treat myself so precious. I had to say no to things that I wouldn't normally say no to. I had to just love on me a lot. And I had to trust my instincts. Like, I already trusted my gut, but I had to really trust my gut and just be firm with it. I had to treat myself way better than I was treating myself before. In order for me to get rid of a lot of the hurt, I just had to treat myself so preciously. I had to just love myself so much more. I also had to teach others to do the same. A lot of people I realized around me didn't know how to deal with me, or they were dealing with me a certain way, and because I was okay with it, it became so normal. So it's like I had to set new boundaries for the people around me, but I also had to learn not to do it so drastically. There was times where I'd be so drastic with it because I'd just be so fed up that I was making people deal with me a certain way. Sometimes it would get out of hand because I was just so over it, right? But I had to realize, you know, I was part of the problem. The reason that they were treating me like this is because I let them, right? So I had to learn to undo that. And that was actually really hard, you know, to get people to understand, like, no, like, you can't mess with me like that no more. Like, that's not where my mind's at. If you can't treat me like this, then respectfully, like, you know, we're cool. Like, we ain't gotta par with each other no more. We don't gotta talk. People want to treat you a certain way. They're so used to dealing with you a certain way because maybe a lot of people in their life, they deal with them like that, right? And then now you are just somebody that they just have to tick off, and it's like, well, she doesn't want to be dealt with like that, then I have the rest of the people that I'm here dealing with like that. So it's like, who cares? I just had to be okay with knowing, like, okay, maybe that person's just so used to having these type of people around them. It's okay, Tash. Like, you will have better relationships. You deserve better relationships. Even though you may really care about this person, it just doesn't align properly with where you're going. You don't need to harden yourself to survive. You don't need to become more tougher. Sometimes you just gotta be softer, because when you're softer with yourself, your body becomes softer within, your mind becomes softer, the way you think, your habits, your routines, the things that you love to do before ain't the things that you love to do now. You like to do things that calm your soul, that teaches you, right? Things that make you feel more at peace, more at one with yourself, things that make you be a more loving person, and not just a more loving person to others, but a more loving person to yourself. Keep blooming, okay? And just know it's gonna take some time. You're not gonna get there overnight, and there's gonna be some seasons where it does get lonely, may get hard. You may just want to give up and just cuddle up under your sheets. There's days where it is hard for me to, you know, just deal, and I do take my time for myself, and I may just stay to myself for a bit, but I give myself a time limit. I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna be out of it for about 2 hours, but then I'm gonna set an alarm and get up. Just know you're gonna trust your process, and you're gonna experience what you need to experience, and you're gonna bloom like a flower, and you're just gonna keep blooming and keep blooming and keep learning and keep growing. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. Also, if you enjoyed this video and you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. It does help out the channel a lot. Also, remember to share these videos because these are topics that can really help people these days. I feel like the world, like I said, I always say the world is changing, you guys. And if you're a millennial like me, it is nothing like what we used to know. Everything that we do has changed. You gotta take each day as it comes. Don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.